Namaste. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. I'm grateful to be here, and I trust you are feeling as well as you can in this moment. If there's anything I can do to help you feel better or make the space more inclusive to you, please let me know. Allow me to remind you, as always, if you're going through anything difficult, that this too shall pass. And there's space for you and your feelings here. They're valid regardless. And welcome, Tattvamasi. Thank you for liking the live already and for sending a quintet of roses. Hello. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hello, dear Curtis. I am doing well. Thank you. Hello, Riemann. Welcome. As our first guests continue to arrive, allow me to set the intention for this space as being a welcoming environment, open to everyone, regardless of background, identity, orientation, ethnicity, belief system, etc. May we come together as fellow students of life to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. I am here for you, dear Curtis. Hello, dear Star Talk. Thank you for sharing the live, dear Tattvamasi. Greetings, dear Julian from Colombia. Hello, Nervous. It's nice to see you here too. And welcome, Cece. Thank you, Rian, for the pair of donuts that you sent, and a rose. Jai Sita Rama. Dancing Aurora Borealis. Namaskaram to you. Dear Pocojo, you ask for me to manifest money for you. Well, I don't know if I'm confident in my ability to do so. However, I can express my intention that you are able to generate as much wealth as you need to live comfortably, with security, and the ability to take care of those you love. Hello, dear Ingrid. Hello, Anne. Hello, Maya. You're from Armenia, dear Star Talk. You couldn't sleep all night today? Well, you know, that's a very auspicious thing to do, because last night was known as Mahashivaratri, which is the great night of Shiva in the luni-solar calendar. And one of the ways of celebrating that is by staying up all night, in which Shiva will shower you with boons if you do. So congratulations on completing Mahashivaratri, even unintentionally. Om Namah Shivaya. Hello, dear Flow with Paige. I pray that you find healing, dear Ingrid. Hello, dear Colin. Allow me to begin our Sangha with an invocation of the Shanti Mantra from the Taittiriya and Katha Upanishad. It goes like this in the ancient language of Sanskrit. Aum Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahai. Aum Shanti Shanti Shanti. In English, that means Om. May the Divine protect us both together. May the Divine nourish us both together. May our study be vigorous and effective, and may we not mutually dispute or hate any. Om. May there be peace in us. May there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Hello, dear Isabella. Dear Green Carrot, you ask, why did I stop talking about the universe? Well, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. So I think I've continued to talk about the universe. But if you're wondering why I stopped making videos like I did before, I'd encourage you to check out the frequently asked questions page in the link tree in my bio. And maybe the story that I share there can help answer some of your questions. But I'm still here to talk about this life, this universe, and everything with you here. Dear Katie, you ask how old I am. I am 23 in this body. Hello, dear beings. And thank you, Isabella, for your finger heart. Here's one for you. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. I am grateful to have a partner at this moment, dear Pocojo. Yes. I would love to start our Sangha with a bit of Shravana, portion dedicated to listening. I have a show and tell from one of you for all of you, and then we'll read from another chapter of the Journey Home, and then we can go into Manana, the section most dedicated to Q&A. Dear Curtis, you ask, do I believe that one's zodiac sign reflects their character, or can we make our own life? What you are inquiring about is the nature of karma, which as a Sanskrit word means action. And karma can be divided into three kinds. There's our sanchita karma. That's the karma from all past lives. Then there's the portion of that which is coming to fruition in this life. That's our prarabdha karma. And it is that portion of karma that astrology describes. This includes basic features about your inclinations, about perhaps where you're born, your parents, what obstacles you may face in life. But there's a third kind of karma, which is called kriyamana karma. And that's the actions that you have free will to take in this life that add to the sanchita karma. To simplify, you have a destiny already set up by your past experiences and the actions taken in them. But you still get to add to that destiny because you are constantly creating new opportunities for yourself in this moment. Hello, brilliantly genius. I'm happy we share an appreciation for mantras, dear Ingrid. And thank you, Neon Jello Pack, for the bubble gum you sent. Never expected, but deeply appreciated. Radhe, Radhe. I have not seen the Love Guru, dear Sadie, but the second time being asked that recently, I'm feeling like the universe is asking me to do so. Hello, dear Alyssa. I appreciate your presence, dear Flow with Paige. Yes, nice to have you here, Colin. I am not associated with the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, dear Jasmine, but I do have a kind of devotion for Krishna, as I do for all forms of the divine. Perhaps I was a mother to you in a past life, dear Apple. Good morning, dear Myrna. And Star Talk, I am from Canada. Now I'd love to introduce today's show and tell, if you're interested in going through it with me. Today's show and tell comes from Valley Wings, also known as Raven, who had shared with me a pilgrimage that they went on to Florida. And it was so lovely that I had asked them if I could create a show and tell out of that, which they certainly agreed to. There's some pictures and videos and something that they wrote while on that trip. I'll just read to you a little bit about it before I show you that. This is Raven's words. I took a pilgrimage to Florida in October 2023 to meet him at his Temple of the Universe in Alachua. It was just what I needed at the time. Ate a lot of edibles on the drive. I don't recommend that if you're driving. I assume Raven was a passenger. There was also roller coaster adventuring, drumming on the beach with a stranger at sunset, lots of peculiar writing, and the purchase of these epic wolf busts, which you'll see now. Let me bring it up for you. I hope you can see my screen. The epic wolf busts that were purchased. Very epic indeed. Welcome, dear Riri. Yeah, these are really cool. I like that. Very detailed. Oh no. This picture doesn't load for some reason. That's okay. I'm sure it's meant to be. Anyway, here is a picture of what's on the front of the Temple of the Universe. Very cool. And here we have inside the Temple of the Universe. There is, looks like a mosaic of Sri Krishna playing his flute. And then below that we have many different ascended masters, you might call them. I don't recognize all of them, but maybe you can help me. Obviously, there's Jesus Christ in the middle. And then to the top right, there's Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And then to the right, there's Yogananda Paramahansa. There's a couple different pictures of Yogananda, like the one below the portrait of Jesus Christ too, where there's the offered flower petals, and some other teachers as well. I can already see the side of probably some form of Krishna has been cropped. But it looks like a very beautiful place. I've heard that it's an interfaith community, not unlike this one. This one doesn't load either. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2 sometime. These were the videos, I think. The videos didn't load. Anyway, there's a beautiful walk through the forest that was lit up on either side by a series of lights. Here's the Florida beach. It's ocean in the Atlantic. Very lovely. And then here we have, what is that, a penguin? Looks like a penguin. I love penguins. I hope they are treated as well as they can. Hello, dear Kristen. We're doing a show and tell. And these other videos didn't load. But not to worry, there is something that definitely did load, and that's the wonderful poem that Raven shared that they wrote while on that trip. It goes like this. We're all too well acquainted with our fears about the end, at the edge of an apocalypse lurking round the bend. The visions in our head about the fission of all hope, but this mission we are called to serve is risen by the rope that pulls us each toward the light. For who am I, who would I be, when asked to make the darkest choice? Who survives, you or me? It's not a dream to work as one. It's not a lie to move with love. It's not naive to just believe we all can rise above. For we cannot be truly safe, and we have not a moment been. In all this time, the dawn of life, there will always come an end. We'll make it through. We always do. Life finds a way to rise. So after this, we'll still rebuild, ascending to the skies. Though all these fragile cities show the higher reach, the greater fall, when we rebuild, we redefine what it means to stand up tall. We'll find our balance in this world, this pale blue dot where we all roam. And even if our species goes, the Mother Spirit guides us home. We'll see how far we all have come. We'll never know how far we go. So hunker down and saddle up. It's time to ride the flow. That is a very beautiful and sobering poem on the topic of what it feels like for many people in the world when darkness seems to be on the rise, especially for those living in America, such as Valley Wings. And I understand the perspective of not being certain how much longer we as a species will be on this planet. But I like the idea of Mother Earth always finding a way. And we are more than just our humanity. We are part of that life that will always survive. So thank you everyone for watching and listening with me as we went through Dear Raven's show and tell today. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2 for the videos, but I'm grateful for what we were able to show anyway. And if you ever have a show and tell that you want to share, it doesn't have to be as elaborate. You are more than welcome to check out the submission form in the link tree in my bio, where you can submit anything your heart desires. And welcome those who joined while we were going through that show and tell. You like the pengu? Me too, dear Josand. And welcome. I'm glad you liked the poem, dear Gandalf and Curtis. That was lovely. Cheers, Tatwamasi. Thank you for listening, dear Jasmine. Happy to have you here, the letter A. Thank you to those who sent a gift in the last several minutes. Nervous. Thank you for your friendship necklace. Your pair of them, in fact. Radhe Krishna. I am Princess Mom. Thank you for your TM bracelet. Om Dom Durgaya Namah. Is that Hybrid Gen? It is Hybrid Gen. Thank you for your quintet of roses. Om Kring Kali Kai Namah. And Dave, thank you for your rose. Om Som Somaya Namah. And thank you, John Simon, for your heart me and TGIF. From the future, as always, no less. Om Som Suryaya Namah. Thank you for your likes on the live, dear Neon Jello Pack and Hybrid Gem. Gandalf, you ask, what else does show and tell entail? That was all we had today, but if you wanted to share pictures that you took or a personal project that you're completing or have completed, maybe you want to share poetry, a song you made, I'd be happy to use that space for things that are important to you. Hello, thank you for your good night wishes, dear Jacqueline, and thank you for sharing the live will. Oh, I'm happy that you see family in me, dear weed wooer, and thank you for sharing the live, cat. We shall be reading from another section of the Journey Home shortly. And thank you for saying that, dear Sebastian. I'm happy to hear that the philosophies of the East have been so opening for you. Hybrid Jen, you share it's hard for you to verbally request something. What's that, dear Hybrid Jen? Is that the second comment of another one that didn't come through, unfortunately? Much love, Colin. Hello, Shrihasya Chitrakara. Riri, you share my symbols get louder and louder. Oh dear, do they? I hope it's not too loud for you. Hello, dear Jake. Gandalf just ordered their first Bansuri flute. You're not sure of the quality it will be, but maybe you'll share it when you've learned it. That'd be lovely. Oh, it's interesting. I have to look up what a Bansuri flute is. I want to know. Ah, yes. Yes. An ancient side-blown bamboo flute originating from the Indian subcontinent, just like Krishna. I love that. Well, I very much look forward to that. Thank you, dear Katie. Happy to have you here. I see, Hybrid Jen. You wanted to ask your oldest daughter to babysit her siblings so you could go out, but it's difficult for you to verbally request that. That makes sense. As a mother, I'm sure it's challenging for you to find the balance between your needs and your children's, because they are your life, they are your everything. It would be, pardon me, it would be a good learning experience and a time for you to place trust in your children for their own independence. That could be a very positive thing for them too. I can see that. I understand how wary you are about ensuring that it comes from a genuine place of not sacrificing your own ability to be there for them. And thank you, Nervous, for your finger heart, your donut, and your tiny yippee. I appreciate that you see that in me, dear Colin. I'm so honored to be surrounded by such wise beings like yourself. Nervous, you're curious if I would like to have children one day. I feel like at this moment, I see the value in parentage objectively, but personally, I don't feel ready to make such a decision in my life. Dear Ten Tintro BC, you ask, am I Buddhist or do I follow a religion at all? I have a lot of love for all the world's spiritual traditions and I do have a close fondness for Buddhism and the other dharmic traditions of India, but I don't have any sort of formal association or commitment to anyone in particular. That's a great idea, Hybridgen. Yeah, you could get something that helps you check in on your household from afar, like those Ring cameras or whatever. That would ease your worries. And you ask if I smoke or drink. I used to a lot. Yeah, especially in my teenage years. But I haven't for many years now, and I don't intend on doing so again. And that came very naturally for me. And hello, dear Elsie baby. Curtis, you ask, is it strange that in your darkest days you spend the days writing poetry to wash the bad away? I don't find that strange at all. Just as Bubbles shared, that's a fundamental virtue of the expression of art. You are expressing your feelings in a very healthy way. Dear Tindro BC, you ask what I say. Overall, I believe in non-dualism, so following one religion to a T isn't important. I see the value in non-duality. I also see the value in duality, and I see them both to be valid perspectives of this experience. And if you find that a particular tradition works for you, then I think it's a beautiful thing to give yourself one pointedly to such a thing. And that's a personal choice that I respect the individual to make. Well, I have got good news, dear King of the Bugs. If you want to be blissful, we have, each of us, such an evolved biology that this faculty can produce all of the wonderful hormones and chemicals to make you feeling blissful without anything external. Just by managing the quality of our own thoughts, can we bring a certain peace to this body. Nor you wonder if I've tried psychedelics, and if so, what was my experience like? I have tried psychedelics. They were interesting and mind-opening, and I'm grateful to have been in a position where I benefited from them. And I haven't used them for more than, I want to say, 7 years now. I feel like they are a key for those of us who have locked our own mind behind a closed door. And once open, the key itself can be given back to Mother Earth, and we can walk through that door and see it where it takes us. No, I haven't seen that, dear Nick. Hello, dear luscious lavender. Jake, you ask, how do I differentiate between feeling bad and thinking that you're feeling bad? That's a really interesting question, Jake. I see the nuance there. I would not differentiate that, but I would differentiate between the concept of a bad feeling and the idea that there's a deeper understanding of that feeling that we could have or thought, so that when we do deepen our understanding of that feeling or thought, that we can no longer describe it as bad, who can allow it to be. No feeling or thought is necessarily bad, I guess is my point. Hello, Frodo. Did I study philosophy? Asks Jian. I have not studied philosophy formally, but I do find all my interactions with all of you to be naturally philosophical. Oh, sounds good, dear Curtis. I'd love to hear your poetry. And welcome, dear Kansas Bell. Thank you, Braiha, for your heart me. Ganganapataye Namah. And Lilimor, thank you for your heart me and nonet of roses. Shri Hanumate Namah. Dear JK, you ask if I can say something on extreme anxiety and shutting yourself from the world. I know what that's like. I've gone through that too. Sometimes, just like a caterpillar needs to build a bit of a cocoon around itself in order to have the space to grow its wings, it does so with the intention of one day breaking that shell, unfurling its wings and flying high above the things that used to entrap it. I like that, Frodo. You felt wise and tough like Gandalf, but now you feel your true nature is Frodo. Hello, Yasmin. Charlie, you're wondering what books have I read or figures have I followed to help me along my spiritual growth. There have been many. None in particular. One of the early ones I can point to is Paramahansa Yogananda. His book, Autobiography of a Yogi, was very influential for me. But that was one of many. Nice to see you here again, dear Nick. And thank you. Random Gaming War, you ask, at what point in life have I realized there was more to life than just living? I think that's a continual discovery I make every day. I don't know if I can point to any time in particular, but I'm very grateful to have parents that encouraged me to continue to discover just how much I can make of this world in ways that help me discover and express my happiness with everyone. Namah Shivaya, dear Veri. And hello, dear Talon. Thank you, Cher, for the 6 roses and heart me you sent. Kamalyar Mahakalikaye Namah. Dear Tattvamasi, you ask, is the ego present in deep sleep? If you're asking about the ahankara being present in deep sleep, the sense of self, no. That is why the Vedantins correlate an analogy with enlightenment and deep sleep. Because enlightenment, you could say that your ahankara is not distinct from your experience. There's no, oh, here's this experience and this is who I am. There's no duality in that sense. So too in deep sleep, there's just an experience of absence and there's no distinction from yourself from that. I think my parents are very spiritual beings, dear Anne, as we all are, but they don't have any particular spiritual practice other than just being shining lights in my life. And you're welcome, Random Gaming War. Thank you, Veri, for the heart me that you sent. Radhe, Radhe, Frodo, you ask, what is my advice for someone who struggles with their self-image, not seeing the beauty in self, which you know is a huge contradiction when everyone sees the beauty in literally everything else? Actually, that's not a contradiction at all. That is the very nature of our self. We are a witness of beauty, and that witness is the subject, and the beauty is the object, and the subject can never become an object. So it is the nature of others to find beauty in us, and it's the nature of ourself to find beauty in others. If we can, however, understand that the self in us is fundamentally non-different from the self in others, then by recognizing the beauty in others, you can indirectly realize the beauty in yourself. Adding to that, I will say that even if you can't recognize the beauty in yourself, but others do, and you love and trust their perspective, then you can love and trust that there is beauty in yourself. Thank you, Luscious Lavender, for your heart mate. Om Param Hanumate Namah. Thank you, Veri, for your septet of donuts and 108 roses, the auspicious number. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namah. And thank you, I Am Princess Mom, for your heart mate. Om Am Saraswatyai Namah. Hello. Don't like blue jeans. Nice to have you here. Tattvamasi, you share that realization is therefore the unveiling for the sense of self. Otherwise, like in deep sleep, we are always realized. Well, let me put it like this, that realization is a moment-to-moment thing. That you can have moments where you feel one with everything, and there are moments where it's going to challenge you to find that sense of oneness in relation to it all. In deep sleep, it's vacuously true that you're one with your experience because there's nothing to experience. But in the waking state, we have experiences that we haven't quite yet seen the reflection of ourself in. And that's the challenge that we face while awake. Your tears are beautiful, dear Frodo. Thank you. And I love that. Remember, you are loved. JK, you ask, how do I talk so slowly and calmly? You've never heard anyone talk like this. Really? Well, I don't feel unique in that. I've heard so many wonderfully relaxing voices in my life that I'm grateful for. Like when I listen to the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh speak, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his Vietnamese name right. It's so wonderful, and I feel very relaxed at the moment. And I guess when I'm speaking from a place of relaxation, that quality comes through in my voice too. But I'm not in India or Indian, but my heart may be. Thank you, Crystal Dawn. Much love, dear Inked Joe. Thank you, Colin. Random Gaming War, you wonder which country I would recommend to go if you're looking for a spiritual experience. I think you can have a spiritual experience wherever you go. There's all sorts of wonderful things and people and places all throughout the world. However, there is something undeniable about the fact that there is something special about the geography of the Indian subcontinent, from the Himalayas all the way down to Sri Lanka. That is definitely the top on my list where I'd go. And I've heard many people share their experiences, such as from this book that we're reading. And perhaps it's a good segue into continuing where we left off, since I like to begin our lives with a reading from a book like this. Hello, Don Suela. And thank you, dear Amanda, for the heart me you sent. Hare Krishna. Dear luscious lavender, thank you for your 19 roses and flowers. Namah Karnim Ambita Me Sharing Nadita Me Haring Devita Me Aing Saraswatyai Swaha. Thank you, Enki, for the heart me that you sent. Jaya Satchitananda. And Frodo, thank you for your pair of friendship necklaces. Bharam Bhairvaya Namo Namah. Thank you, Don't Like Blue Jeans, for your finger heart. Here's one for you too. Rama Rama. And Lilimor, thank you for your trio of roses. Ang Namah Parashaktaye. Thank you, dear Susio Iona. I would love to learn how to properly pronounce your name, as I'm sure I have room for improvement. Thank you for your pair of roses. Vastudevataya Namah. I've heard great things about the province of Gujarat, dear Colin. Yeah. How did I meet my lover, asks Tiger Luna. Someone in their life actually showed a video of me to them where I was talking about the nature of infinity. And infinity is a topic that deeply resonates with the being whom I love. And we eventually connected over that too. Now let's continue where we left off in our lovely book. That's not the book, that's a penguin. The Journey Home. Here we start the 5th chapter of the 2nd act of the Journey Home. Let's dive right into it, shall we? May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. The monsoon rains had come. Billowing clouds of purple, indigo, and midnight blue were streaked with repeated flashes of lightning. Bass rumbles of thunder resonated across the sky. Although traveling in monsoon season was hard, I inhaled the moist, warm air and was thrilled. July was approaching, and I wondered where to go for my next visa extension. There was a rumor that one could easily get an Indian visa in Nepal. Considering that it was not very far away, I decided to try. On my journey northeast towards Nepal, I arrived in Patna, a bustling city of huge granaries, colleges, and political buildings in the state of Bihar. I meandered to the river Ganga and slept on the river's bank at the collectory hut, where Mother Ganga looked as wide as a sea and was awakened by the rays of the rising sun and the sound of hundreds of people singing songs while preparing to take their baths. I lay there taking in this colorful display when suddenly I sensed an overpowering presence. There, towering over me, was a marvelous-looking man with long white hair and beard. I felt to be face to face with a classical holy man of ancient lore. 3 vertical lines called tilak were drawn on his forehead. The center line was red and the other 2 white. Perhaps in his late 70s, he spoke no English, but pressing his hands together and bowing in greeting, gestured for me to follow him into his temple on the riverbank. Not bigger than a large hut, the gray stone temple looked very old. Its front was open to the river, and as we entered I saw a man who appeared to be in his mid-80s sitting before an altar, reciting prayers. He greeted me in fluent English. "My name is Narayan Prasad. I hail from Patna." He began to tell me his story. "Now that my children are grown, I am retired from government service and come here each day to serve my Guru." Taking my hand, he led me back to the same holy man who'd found me lying by the riverside. "This is my Guru, Rama Sevaka Swami. He is a great bhakti yogi." I knew now that bhakti meant devotion, but I had no idea yet of the depth or true meaning of this tradition. The Swami invited me to remain at his temple as long as I wished. He was to be the first sadhu who followed the path of bhakti yoga I would stay with. Like a loving father, he carefully considered my welfare. A gentle smile beamed from his aged face every time he looked at me. Although 4 times my age, he fed me with his own hands. Later, when I was ill, he prepared herbal medicines for me. He was a revered Swami, and I a lost little soul, a Western kid struggling to find my way. My heart was moved seeing the devotion of Rama Sevaka Swami. It was from him that I learned much about the behavior of an honest and genuine holy man. Simplicity and devotion poured from his heart in whatever he did. Each morning he spent several hours alone chanting the names of Lord Rama on his wooden beads and performed his daily worship on the altar with great feeling. One day he explained to me the meaning of his name. Rama Sevaka means one who serves Lord Rama. And the greatest service to Rama is to help others to know him and love him. He stroked his flowing white beard and became emotional. "I am indebted to you for allowing me to help you." Hearing this, even Narayan Prasad was overcome with emotion and had to struggle to speak the translation. As for me, I was only beginning to grasp the meaning of true devotion. At night, as we all slept on the jagged stone floor of the temple, swarms of bloodthirsty mosquitoes tormented me. I felt I was being eaten alive. Their buzzing agitated my ears. Zeroing in, they stabbed into my flesh and sucked my blood. It was impossible to sleep. In distress, I looked over at Rama Sevaka Swami and a visiting sadhu. Even though mosquitoes swarmed around them and grew plump with their blood, They lay peacefully on the rocks, sleeping soundly. These two sadhus were completely oblivious to bodily suffering. I prayed to God that someday I might be so detached. One evening, a visiting sadhu offered to cook for us. After begging alms in town, he returned and, while crouching on the floor, he started a fire with the fuel of dried cow dung patties that heated a clay pot. He cooked khichdi, made with rice, mung, and some potatoes. His complexion was dark, and his hair and beard matted, and he wore only a faded white loincloth. When he finished cooking, he offered the food first on the altar and then to us. I sat on the floor in a row with Rama Sevaka Swami and 3 other sadhus. As our cook heaped a ladleful of khichdi on each plate, we chanted songs in praise of Lord Rama and prepared to eat. We ate with our fingers from a leaf plate. With the first bite, my mouth blazed. It was as if the cook had spiced the chili peppers with a little rice. I was sweating profusely. My nose ran, and tears streamed from my eyes. I felt like the remaining wax in my ears was melting. I despaired, for according to sadhu custom, one must complete everything on one's plate. At that moment, my only goal in life was somehow to finish my plate. The pain was excruciating, and I hiccuped uncontrollably. I ate mouthful after mouthful of that blistering dish in sheer anguish. The others were enjoying it so much they never could have dreamed of my suffering. Just as I managed to choke back the last of my portion and feel the promise of relief, our generous cook came around to give seconds. I blocked my plate with my hands. Puran, Puran. I am full, no more. He smiled with the ladle brimming over, ready to fill my plate. Tora, Tora. A little. Take just a little more. I felt as if I were standing before death personified, pleading for my life. Puran, Puran. My hands protectively covered the plate. Tora, Tora. With a gracious smile, he performed the fateful deed. He dropped the contents of the ladle on my plate. My mind reeling, I somehow completed the fiery food and breathed a sigh of relief. Just then, I saw him returning with thirds. I knew I couldn't survive another plate. I wanted to run away, but I couldn't. The etiquette among sadhus is that no one gets up until all others have completed. He dipped the ladle into the pot and filled it with what looked like a ladle full of chilies. Ever since I was a child, I had always felt bad when I caused other people sorrow. So intent was the cook on pleasing us that I didn't have the heart to reveal the pain he was causing me. My pulse was racing. What else could I do? In haste, I lifted my leaf plate and crumpled it into my hands. He smiled and went on to the next sadhu. Amazed, I watched all the others thoroughly enjoying helping after helping. The cook pointed to me and bragged, "He likes my cooking so much he is crying in gratitude." I forced a smile and nodded in agreement. While reflecting on the philosophy of selfless service that was so much a part of these men's lives. Yes, I'm crying. And it may as well be in gratitude, as he believes. To please others is not always easy, but it is part of my deepest nature to wish to do so. enduring the burning pain of that food was a small price to please this sadhu. That night the mosquitoes hardly bothered me. Perhaps my blood was too spicy. Thank you for listening to that very enjoyable introduction to the 5th chapter of the 3rd act of the Journey Home. I enjoyed that very much. I hope you did too. And I invite any insights you may have had. We can explore them together. Namaste. My attention can return on the comment section. We can explore whatever's in our hearts and minds for the manana, the portion now that I'll transition to, dedicated to Q&A. Welcome those that joined while we were reading. Thank you, Curtis, for the rose that you sent. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Heart emoji, unicorn emoji, heart emoji. Thank you for your heart, me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That was really funny. I agree, Rudy. Is this my book? Asks heart emoji, unicorn emoji, heart emoji. It is not my book. It's an autobiography of an American Swami named Shri Radhanath Swami. Tattvamasi. You sure he should have gone Toda to the mosquitoes. That's hilarious. I've been well, thank you, dear Miss Jolie. How are you? I'm glad you like the story, dear Nescole. Makes you smile. Hello, dear Jackie. Thank you for your support, dear Luscious Lavender. And hello, dear Sweetest Flowers. And thank you, dear Neon Jello Pack, for your heart meme. Om Ganganapataye Namah. The taps on the screen are never an expected part of your participation in this Sangha, but I'm always amazed at just how many accumulate. 14,000 is not a number I could visualize in my mind. If your fingers are sore, please let them rest. But know that you have helped in informing our platform to send this live stream to a wider audience. If you choose to feel like there is value that others may benefit from here, but I'm happy with just the people that are here already. Thank you, dear Sandro, for the heart me that you sent. Om Namo Vishnave. Dear Gabe, you ask if you may DM me with spiritual questions. Absolutely. But do know that my DMs are only open on other platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, or even email. All of those are social media icons at the link at the top of the link tree in my bio. And to ensure that you don't get an impersonator, because unfortunately there are people that use my likeness, I never charge for anything, so everything I do is free. Dear J. Scoticus, you ask, what incense am I currently burning? I must simply be burning the incense of the aroma of joy that I feel from all of you, because I don't have any physical incense burning now. I do have my lovely ornate incense box here with an unburnt incense, so maybe I shall light some. Thank you for the idea, dear J. Scoticus. I'll try not to light my fire on, or yeah, I will try to light my fire, but I'll try not to light my hair on fire this time. I'm not too sure what flavor this one is. All I know is that it smells lovely, and I hope that somehow by miracle its aroma drifts into your nostrils from all around the world. Namaste, dear Loopy Lane. Hello, Zach. Hello, hi. And thank you, Tatwamasi, for your heart me. Some people hold the tradition to draw the Om sign with their incense. That might have been backwards for you, though. I'll do it the right way for you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It's beautiful, isn't it? Thank you, Veri, for your 108 roses. Indraya. What's the dative form of Indra? Is it Indraya? Indraya Namah. You have Nag Champa burning, dear Veri. Lovely. Hello, dear Tamia. No, Yam, don't eat it. You think I was going to eat the fire? Fire is associated with our digestion. That's where our solar plexus chakra is. That's related to Tejas, the element of fire. Fire of digestion is what transmutes our food into energy. Frankincense is a wonderful one, shares Riri. You kind of want to start a fire outside, shares Hybrid Gen. I think that would be a lovely experience. You're also burning Nag Champa, dear Versano. I love that. Thank you, Jos, for your heart maid. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Hybrid Jin, thank you for your septet of team cheers. Om Ishwaraya Namah. Dear Gabriella, thank you for your heart maid. Om Maya Shaktaye Namah. And Luscious, thank you for your 30 roses. Tam Namaschandaraya. Dear Colin, you ask, did I have a guru, or did I study and learn the culture on my own? Well, I feel like the answer is yes to both those questions simultaneously, because the culture is a guru in a sense. There is a certain personality behind the spirituality of the East, and it naturally found a way to imbue me with experiences, even without a guru who has yet to appear to me in their physical form. I love that idea, to make a fire during the planetary alignment. Shares hybrid gem, to make a ritual out of it. Beautiful. Curtis, you share that you cannot sleep. How would I recommend to fall asleep? I would take inspiration from the theory of 3 states, which presupposes that all of our experiences of life can be classified into 3 states. There's waking, there's sleep, and then there's a dream. I know in the West we tend to lump in dream with sleep, that to be dreaming means to be asleep. So perhaps we can differentiate sleep from deep sleep. Although deep sleep is ultimately our goal, we have to pass through dreamlike sleep to get there. Now, the step from waking mind to deep sleeping mind is very big. And if we are understanding sleep to just be deep, then yeah, it can be very difficult to find the right mindset to fall asleep. But if instead you think about entering dreamlike sleep, the shift from your waking mindset to a dreamy mindset is not as big. That is to say, instead of trying to shut off your thoughts as you might associate with in deep sleep, transition your thoughts to be less corporeal and more light, funny, dreamlike. Start imagining yourself walking through a forest or any other landscape that might resonate with you. Turn off not your whole mind, but just your analytical or logical mind, and get lost in mystical visions and imaginations. That's how I like to fall asleep, and it works pretty well for me. Thank you for your follow. Oh, is that a U or a V? You have a very beautifully decorated name. You are the first ever Somali witch on TikTok. How lovely is that? Walina. You can tell me if I can pronounce it better. Thank you for the follow, PS. Thank you, Jay Scott, for the heart me that you sent. Or the finger heart, rather. Here's a finger heart for you. Om Ram Brahmane Namah. Dear Gabe, thank you for your donut. Om Vasudevaya Namah. Dear Carrie Lou, thank you for your heart, me too. Ashvini Bhyam Namah. Dancing Aurora Borealis, thank you for the let butterfly dances. That's very beautiful. Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Thank you for another heart, me too, dear Gabe. And Curtis for your tiny down. You heard my rolled R in there, Jackie. Glad you're making use of that sticker. Thank you for the likes on the live, dear Versano, the artist. What's that question about food, dear Simon? Dear PS, hello. You want to know if you'll have kids with your boyfriend? Akshay Mehandirata. A beautiful name that he has. I am not a fortune teller, but I can tell you that if you continue to deepen your relationship with Akshay, that I am sure you will create wonderful things together and bring life into this world in many more ways than one. Namaste, dear luscious lavender. You have recurring dreams, dear bad news bear. I often find that to mean there's something in our subconscious that needs our attention that we have yet to unpack. Irene, you sent me a request for prayers, or you had sent me a request for prayers a few months ago, battling cancer. And today you're cancer-free. That is amazing news, Irene. I'm so delighted to hear that, and I'll continue to pray for your long-lasting health. Time to ring the bell, right? Dear Myrna, you ask, why do I think that you dream every night and you remember it all? It's always so vivid. It sounds to me, dear Myrna, that you're very connected with your subtle body, your thoughts and your feelings, and that you have a sense of clarity in your vision with the world. And that's a beautiful thing. Being German, you roll your R's too, so it's common for you to hear them as normal, Curtis. I love the sound of that. And that's interesting. I haven't thought about how that's a phoneme in Deutsch, German. I know it's a lot more common in Europe. I love what the human voice is capable of. Myrna, you share you're always upset about the wasted energy that you give in your dreams. Oh. Why do you feel like it's a waste of energy, what you do in your dreams? I'm curious. And hello, the Daejun. Hello, biggest birdess. Riri, you ask, is offering spiritual mentorship different from being a guru? You know someone, but they aren't a quote-unquote guru. It depends how we use the word guru. If we're just using it more informally as, well, a spiritual mentor, then yeah, You can call anyone a guru. Formally, however, there is a difference between an upaguru and a satguru. When we're using it informally, we generally mean upaguru. Upa means near as a prefix, so an upaguru is someone who gets you nearer and nearer to truth, to spirit, to what you're learning from. A satguru takes you all the way there, to sat, to truth with a capital T. And we do have to be careful about who gets the term guru in the sense of a satguru, as there are qualifications that such a satguru may have. But an upaguru we can apply liberally to our friends, to our family, to our loved ones. My phone is vibrating. Let me turn my alarm off. Thank you, dear Carrie Lou. I love you too, dear Irene. Dear Dana, you share you have cancer, and you'll open the floor for us to pray for you. Absolutely, dear Dana. Carrying the success of Irene's journey with cancer, may the spirit of healing find you too. And meanwhile that happens, may you deepen your ability to love and accept the journey that you're on. And I pray not just for your physical well-being, but also for your mental and emotional well-being during this time. Om Ashvini Bhyam Namah. Thank you, Roxy, for your heart mate. Om Ganganapataye Namah. Thank you for finding beauty here, dear Carrie Lou. Okay, let's go. You share that some are drawn to the power of darkness, and you were drawn to the light. You lost many along the way. Would you like to share more about what that was like for you? Dear Ku, yes. You ask if I can tell a ghost story. Okay, I can tell a ghost story. Would you all like to hear one? Yeah, happy to help, dear Riri. In your dreams, dear Myrna, you share there's a lot of running, walking, and problem-solving, apocalyptic situations. It sounds like you're attending to your subconscious, just in the way that you have visions for the world. And it's good to usher in healing and love in your dreams, and maybe you're already doing that in the problem solving. Cass, you ask what led me to Hinduism. What led me to Eastern philosophy was ultimately my mathematical journey, that I was really curious about the nature of reality on a mathematical level, and that led me to truths that I had heard before in passing through various Eastern teachers, and I realized that I had stumbled upon the same things that many people had. in the East. And thank you everyone for offering prayers for each other, such as Into the Abyss. And thank you for your pair of roses. Thank you, dear Twitter baited. Have a good night for you too. Dear Katie, you share that ghost stories make you sad because you think vengeful spirits stay behind and can't get justice. That is a narrative that we might get from ghost stories. But don't you worry. I have a story that puts it into a very different context that is perhaps a little more inclusive. Good evening, dear Mila. It sounds like you had a path of recognizing, okay, let's go, that what's much more important than power is power over others, is to empower others, shall I say. Hello, dear Zaya. Alright, here's my ghost story. So one day, a man was cleaning out his attic, and he uncovered this golden urn. And while polishing the golden urn, a jinn came out, a spirit. This was a wish-fulfilling spirit. The jinn said, "Thank you for freeing me. I had been trapped in that urn for 1,000 years. To repay you, I am going to offer you not just 3, but innumerable wishes, indefinitely. Anything you wish for, I shall grant it so. But I have to tell you, I have a darker nature, and at the moment you run out of wishes for me, I will eat you." This is the story of the hungry ghost. The man felt elated. I mean, there are so many things to wish for. Would one really even run out of wishes? I mean, hey, there are so many things in this world that each of us lack. I'm sure this man thought that I will have no shortage of wishes. So that second clause doesn't matter so much to me. The first thing he wished for was a great dinner banquet with all the delicacies of the world and all of the most beautiful people whom he may be attracted to. The jinn was quick, laid down a dinner table and a cloth. All of the food piled on top. Every kind of delicious, tasty thing you could possibly eat was on it. And the table extended for what looked like miles. And wonderful guests arrived. Just like that. And the man began to feast and invite his guests. Or welcome his guests. But the jinn reminded him, "If you run out of wishes, I am going to eat you. Don't think that you have time to enjoy this food just yet." "Oh, that's right. Thank you for your mercy," shared the man. "I ask for the most brilliant mansion with 1,000 rooms. And just like that, the mansion manifested before him. The jinn was quick. It seemed like the man didn't have time to enjoy any of his wishes before he could have the opportunity, or before the jinn could have the opportunity of eating him. The man was starting to get anxious. He said, I wish for a brand new Tesla. Vroom. Well, I guess it wouldn't sound like that because it's electric. It's the hum of the electric engine. The jinn was too fast. I wish for kingdom walls around this banquet and my mansion. I wish you to chop down that forest. Chop, 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 chop. I wish for this. I wish for that. Every time that he felt like he had a moment to enjoy something that this jinn would create, there it arose, and he would be eaten, no less. And any moment that he didn't ask for something else. So he kept giving menial tasks to this jinn as he ran from this banquet. Out from his newly constructed kingdom, he went in search of his guru. Finally, he fell before his guru, who was wise and learned, and prayed at the feet of his master that his guru could help him with this dilemma. He explained that while clearing out his attic, he had found a golden urn, and upon polishing it, this jinn had appeared with the ability to grant indefinitely many wishes, but that he would eat me if I ran out of wishes. The guru laughed, understood his plea, and said, "My son, I have seen this many times before. All you have to do," and the guru pointed to a pole. "Do you see that pole over there? Ask the jinn to climb to the top of that pole, and when it's done, climb to the bottom. And do that continuously until you have another wish for him to fulfill. And once that wish is fulfilled, that he is to continue climbing up the pole and back down again." It was such a simple solution that the guru told, to just keep the hungry ghost occupied on a task that would never end, and yet make room for other tasks that may show up in the meantime. The man was amazed at the guru's clarity and thought about how he had mentioned that he'd seen this many times before. So the man inquired, "Where have you seen this so many times before?" The guru replied, "I have seen this so many times because the hungry ghost is the nature of everybody's mind. The mind is a powerful instrument for manifesting things in this world, but it is never satiated. The moment your mind does not have a task to do, it will start to consume you. So, do your sadhana, practice conscious breathing, chant mantras and pray continuously. Keep your mind engaged, just like the jinn climbing the pole from top to bottom. And whenever it has any other responsibility of the world, let it do so and then return back to your sadhana. So, that is the story of the hungry ghost. I hope you liked it. Thank you for asking me to tell a ghost story, dear Goyas. Now, was that a ghost story that brought justice to the ghost, dear Katie? I hope so. Because that ghost is none other than our own mind. And our mind is a beautiful instrument. Now back to some of the comments while we were telling the story, and welcome everyone. Hello Denise. Thank you Miananda. Dear Jess, you share that you just had to stand up to a grape apologist. A grape apologist? He apologizes for turning people into raisins when no one else would, and he was trying to use religion to excuse his friend, and you're flustered and you don't know where to turn, but you stood up to him. You did a good thing, dear Jess. Religion is also one of those instruments that can be used for good, but when used to excuse unjust behavior, something that we definitely should stand up for, and I'm glad that you did so. Welcome, dear Dan. What time is it for you? Hello, Cade Castles. Hello, dear Chelsea. You love my waffling? What was that song on the early internet? Do you like waffles? Yeah, we like waffles. Do you like pancakes? Yeah, we like pancakes. Do you like French toast? Yeah, we like French toast. Do 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 do. Katie, you share that gurus have just riddle-esque advice. Well, I am happy to help explore the riddles with you so you don't feel like they are something that gatekeeps us from practical understanding. But I am telling you to find your pole to climb. Yeah, that's a good adage, dear Zaya. Idle hands do the devil's work and whatnot. Not necessarily literal physical work, but we all need to practice. And so you ask, what are some sadhana types of things to focus on? I think the simplest one is a mantra. I love to fill my idle time with chanting mantras. And if, my mouth is occupied, like brushing my teeth or eating, I'll hum it or I'll just think it. Having some sacred and beautifully opening idea on loop is much better than, the tune of some pop song stuck in your head, or the conversation that you had with someone that didn't go that well. I recommend a mantra. I'm not sure if I can read that, dear Dan. I'm glad you liked the story, dear Shrihasya Chitrakara. You can see the campfire now. 10 out of 10 ghost story. Oh, good. you, dear Riri. You like the hungry ghost, Denise. So good. I'm glad you all liked that. Hello, the truth you love. Dear Irene, you share all your friends, all religions pray for you, and you respect all faiths. For real, your heart. Maybe this isn't for real. Just the letters FR. Not judging, God is one. Well, the essence of your comment certainly came through, and yes. Although there are many religions that debate about the nature of God, it's all one God at the end of the day. You're very welcome, dear Cool Mock. Dear Mirna, you give another alternative of that song. Do you like baguette? Yes, we like baguette. Do you like pita bread? Yes, we like pita bread. I could go for pita right now. You're always welcome to share, dear Jess. Dear Katie, you share you were thinking about religion and you wanted to visit a temple. Do I think that's okay? Of course. Yeah. Most places of worship invite everyone, regardless of their background. Spiritual communities are almost always happy to have other people there. Especially if it's a mandir, which is the name for temples in Hinduism. They are not structured generally like other places of worship, in the sense that people can come and do their own personal kind of practice there in coexistence with everyone. And if anyone questions why you're there, it's only because they're so excited to see a new face. I went to my local Indian temple once, and the only thing anyone ever said to me was welcome to the family. And it was completely non-judgmental. Dear Anthony, you feel much happier today. I'm grateful to hear that. Much love to you. Anthony, you ask if I can send some of my favorite mantras. The only one you remember is Om Im Namo Vishnave. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Maybe send me a message on Telegram to remind me. Thank you for sharing the live, OCC, and for your follow, dear Worms for President. I'm glad you see the profundity of that story, dear Riri. When I first heard it, and I heard the explanation, I was amazed at how beautifully simple it was. Anthony, you share, although I've always replied to you, it feels like you're no longer worthy of asking questions. I'm sorry you feel that way, dear Anthony. Everyone is welcome to ask questions, regardless of how many they've asked before. Bodedly, you ask for thoughts on pain. Pain is something we can't avoid in life. Even enlightened beings experience pain. But the difference between us and enlightened beings is that enlightened beings let their body complain so that their mind doesn't have to. If you want to differentiate, you could say that pain is of the body and suffering is of the mind. And there's only so much we can do to attend to the pain of the body. But we have so much influence over alleviating the suffering of the mind. And that is our first priority. A suffering-free mind can carry even a painful body with grace. Riri, you share that being eaten alive is exactly how you feel in those moments of separation. Yeah, I know what you mean. Thank you, Chelsea, for your tiny yippee. You wish you had a local temple, dear Viri. Well, you do. You have the mandir of your heart, and you can dress up your heart in the same way. You can fill your heart with images of the divine and chant mantras in it too. Decorate your own heart, just like a temple. And thank you for your kindness to Anthony, dear Tatwamasi. You ask about the question of the day, dear Myrna. Thank you for asking. Today I ask, what do most people not realize are the same thing? I'd love to explore that with you. And I know there is other comments and that I haven't got to yet before asking this question of the day, so we can do both at the same time. I'll just go through the messages. Eira, thank you for your heart, mate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'm always happy to pray for you, dear Katie. Hello, dear MJ. Nice to have you here, Chelsea. Hello, Hia Della Luna. I'm glad you like the Bansuri ambience right now. Bubazji. Me too. It's a nice flute. Zaya, you share you visited the Fushimi Irani shrine, and it was one of the most magical places you'd ever seen. Generations and generations of shrines. I love that. Zaya, you share a question. Would I say even emotional pain is of the body? We can absolutely feel our emotions physically, and I think our emotions can get bottlenecked in parts of our body. And so letting your prana, the vital energy of your body, flow can be a way of relieving emotional blockages. Dear Auntie, you share that caring is painful though. Shall we not care? And you don't know how. We should absolutely continue to care. That is a very noble thing for us to do. But we should continue to care in a way that holds space for our bodies and minds. Because if we want to make a world that's more peaceful, we have to start from a place of peace inside. Cultivating that sense of inner peace is necessary. So don't feel like it's either you care about the world or you care about yourself. we have to first care about ourselves, and then we bring that care outwards into the world, because change happens from within and propagates outward. I hope that makes sense. We can talk about that more. Anyway, on to some answers to our question of the day. Dear Anne, you share that love and hurt are one of the same. I see that. I am Damien. You share all of us, humans. I like that. Zaya, you share that anger and sadness are the same. I see that. I see the sadness in the anger, and the anger in the sadness. Hello, dear Nati. You wonder what I do? I wonder that too. I hope I can be a source of kindness and a reflection of wisdom in others. My question is goofy, shares Bubasji. I'm happy you see the lightheartedness in it. Yeah, dear Jess, you and me, this and that, everything. Spirit is the whole. Well said. Myrna, you point to love and hate being the same in the sense of two sides of one coin. Yeah. Katie, you think a lot of people don't realize that they and Mother Earth are the same thing. There's no separation or connection from nature because we are nature. That's wise. Jackie, you share grief and love. You've seen it often in your grief group. I'm happy you have that for you. I like your way of challenging the premise of the question. Show me what isn't the same. I'd love to see it. Tatvamasi, you share inside and outside are the same. Reminds you of Pink Floyd's Us and Them. Beautiful. Hello, Sabina. Dear Twitter, you share consciousness and reality, the heart and the mind. What we think and what we feel is our experience. So poignant of you. Thank you. I like that, Colby. God is the Big Bang coming through the birth canal, and the universe is it growing. Well said. Or as they say in Sanskrit, sadhu. The final enigma. Riri, you share many binaries, light and dark, good and evil, life and death, true and false, up and down, demons and angels, creator and creation. Yeah. Well said, Anthony. This and that are the same. Every answer will be correct. Yeah. In fact, you've pointed a beautiful meta answer to this question. The answers to the question. The answer to the question is the answers to the question. Chelsea, you share, according to DNA scientists, rosemary and sage are the same thing. And it's very difficult for plant people to accept this. Rose Marinus is now salvia. How fascinating. I had not known of such a controversy in the world of botany. Thank you. Speaking of which, we are nature, affirms Jess. You love plants so much, if I couldn't tell. Well, I'm always happy to hear more about your love for plants, dear Jess. I really like this answer shared by Dion. Infinity and zero. The paradox of the universe. Nothingness is actually everything. Hello, dear Marcy. Thank you for the likes. Time and space, shares Matt. Spoken like Einstein. And the binary and the non-binary. Another meta, out-of-the-box answer from Anthony. Dear Neptune the Real, you ask, what is my spirituality or religion? I like to say whatever yours is. That whenever I'm interacting with anyone, I love to be included in their personal path, whatever it may be, because spirituality thrives in each other's communion, and I hold no reservations for what others may practice. That sounds like something that would help you get around and transport the things that are important to you, dear into the abyss. Dear Tattvamasi, you share clouds and flowers and soil and gardener. These are one of the same. I love that. Billy Jeet, you ask, do I have a guru? I think everyone is my guru. Enzo, you share spaghetti and angel hair. Basic blend. You share nothing is nothing and everything is everything. But we project differentiations. I see what you mean. I'm glad you felt that, dear Jess. Yeah. Katie, I think you hit the nail on the head when you shared that you also think the need to feel God when worshiping is the same as our connection to each other. That reminds me of what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that I am the practice that leads to me. That spiritual practice is non-different from the spirit. Rather than being the journey that takes you to the destination and the journey are one. Or to put it more theistically, the love for God is God. Thank you for giving a sub away, dear Shopi Heart. To Anthony, that's so kind of you. I appreciate that. Salutations to you, dear Anthony. Om Kali Mahakali Kalike Parameshwari Sarvananda Kare Devi Narayani Namostute. Utopia and paradise are the same thing. Ah, it's beautiful, Jack. Jess, you share how hard it is to find people who actually hold the same beliefs as you, Joan. Right? So, at the very least, I tried to find the common ground and be grateful for that. Basic blend, you share problems and solutions are the same. Anthony, you share the desire to feel validation from others is the same as the source of the validation. Wow, that's beautiful. And welcome, Tom Terrific. Billy Jeep, you ask, how come you're feeling peace listening to me? I can only be grateful that you do. And wherever it comes from, I know that it's a part of you. Thank you, Up the Freeway, for your heart me. Dham Namaschandaray. And Hybrid Jen, thank you for your star. Ishwaraya Namah. All desire and the source of all desire are one. You mean the source of all validation? I think it makes sense both ways, dear Anthony. Patrick, you share chai and tea. Yes, it's funny. Like, chai tea is like saying the Sahara Desert. Sahara means desert. Chai is the word in many Indian languages for tea. So it's tea. Oh, I'm grateful that you noticed that, dear Katie Chris. I hope to continue to read past your typos and that they not prevent me from understanding you. Shorihasya Chitrakara, you share that the trap is the freedom. I love that. Riri, you share your Atman and material reality. That is a very big one, indeed. The material reality is not mere Maya, but Saguna Brahman. Your universal our universal consciousness with form. And Anthony, you share love and hate as they are just the polar opposite ends of the same thing. Dear Marcy, you share a weighted blanket and a Sangha snack. I agree, Tatwamasi. This needs a Hasya Chitra, a funny image, a meme. Yeah. I see how you type from the soul, dear Anthony. That's beautiful. Dhani, you share how earth, heaven, and hell are the same thing. I see the truth in that too. Katie, you asked for my answer to our question of the day. What's something that is the same that most people don't realize? You know, you've all spoken, I think, everything that I was going to say. I'm not sure what to add. Honestly, you've all had such beautiful answers that have spoken what's already within my mind. But I will add to that, all forms of the divine are one. That is profound, dear Anthony. And thank you, Zaya, for your friendship necklace. Om Namo Buddhaya. Jesse wonder where I was born. I was born from my mother. She is my motherland. But she birthed me in Canada, in Calgary, Alberta. Dear Ash, you share that excitement and fear can be confused. That's a great answer too. Hello, dear Nate. Happy to have you here again. I've been around. I like your emojis, dear Hybrid Chen. That yam yam is the same as yam. A name so nice you say it twice. And Neptune, you share that most people do not realize that we are all the same, just with different walks of life. I like that. Katie, you're from the USA, and you just love Canadians. Oh, I'm very happy to have you as my country neighbor. Thank you for correcting me, dear Zia. I'm glad you did. I was hoping you would. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm pronouncing their name in a way that doesn't represent who they are. It's a nickname for Kezia. I love that. Shalomi, dear Shalomi. Yeah, I see that, dear Jazz. Hello, dear Feral Merman. That's okay, dear Katie. I don't judge you or anyone in your country for the cultural or political situations. I see the universality of the soul, regardless of the country and its circumstance. Thank you, everyone, for exploring this question of the day with me. I will pause our just the text on screen there. If you wanted to continue it, you are welcome to, but I'm going to make some visual space. Good morning, dear Michelle. You overslept so terribly today. Hey, that's okay. I did too, because I stayed up all night for Maha Shivaratri. I went to bed very late, and guess what time I woke up today? I'll tell you. 5 p.m. So however late you feel like you got up today, it's probably earlier than that. Oliver, you share that hugging a loved one is the same as hugging yourself. I love that. I see that both ways. Yeah. It's true, dear Zia. We're all global citizens, navigating systems above our own power. That is very well said. Thank you for your love from an Australian. Or, one second. Thank you for your love from an Australian. Let us take a short journey into another scene, because it's time for another episode of Ruminations, where we listen to the wonderful poetry of the Sufi mystic Rumi. Yeah, rolled R stickers, seen in chat. We are continuing through the Pocket Rumi, a selection from the Mathnawi. This poem is called The Truth of Things. Oh, sorry, that's the one we ended on last time. The next poem after that is called Make Yourself Low. Loving kindness is drawn to the saint, as medicine is drawn to the pain it must cure. Where there is pain, the remedy follows. Wherever the lowlands are, the water goes. If you want the water of mercy, make yourself low, then drink the wine of mercy and be drunk. Mercy upon mercy rises to your head like a flood. Don't settle on a single mercy, O sun. Bring the sky beneath your feet and listen to celestial music everywhere. That poem's called Make Yourself Low. Hello, dear Goofy Goosey. Our most ardent Rumi admirer is here. Let's read a couple more poems, shall we? This poem is called That Treasure Could Be Anybody. You may despair of finding a true friend of God. But since the treasure does not exist in this world, consider no ruin empty of treasure. Go to every dervish at random, and when you find the sign of a true saint, keep their company regularly. If the inner eye has not been granted to you, always think that treasure could be in anybody. Finally, let's read To Clutch at Madness. Conventional opinion is the ruin of our souls, something borrowed which we mistake as our own. Ignorance is better than this. Clutch at madness instead. Always run from what seems to benefit yourself. Sip the poison and spill the water of life. Revile those who flatter you. Lend both interest and principal to the poor. Let security go and be at home amid strangers. Or dangers, but you know what they say, stranger danger. Leave your good name behind and accept disgrace. I have lived with cautious thinking. Now I'll make myself mad. Let's pause our reading of the Pocket Rumi there for now, as that concludes another episode of Ruminations. Who wrote this, asks Anthony? Rumi, this Persian Sufi mystic who lived in the 13th century. And it's amazing how there have been so many centuries that have passed since then, and yet a whole other language that's being translated from, and yet these words are still applicable across time, across culture. I'm glad you liked that one about celestial music, dear Jazz. Zia, I see how that last poem was about resisting comfort for growth, going outside of our comfort zone. Indeed. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ruminations. Let me transition back into Manana. There's some that joined while we were reading too. Hello, Infinity Life. Anna, you were wondering if this is from Hinduism. We draw from many sources here. I see the beautiful cross in your name. And there's Hindu words behind me. And these poems came from someone of the tradition known as Sufi, a branch of mystical Islam. I love the many traditions we draw here to form a wealth of many streams. Thank you, dear MJ, for the hand hearts that you sent. Shri Hanumate Nama. Dear Lady Jem Jem, you ask, is there anyone on the planet that we can trust? Because you haven't met any. Sounds like you have yet to meet yourself and discover the gem in you, O Lady Jem Jem. But remember that the self in you is ultimately non-different from the self in others. So to truly trust yourself means to trust the whole that you are a part of. Hello, dear E. Do be affirmed that if anyone ever feels like they've missed a reading, all of them are snipped and put on my YouTube channel in dedicated playlists. The Greasy Strangler. You ask, who is Rumi? Rumi is a Persian Sufi mystic and one of the most widely read poets in the world today. His passionate insight into the nature of human existence, his joyful humor, his deep wisdom, and his ecstatic songs of divine union have endeared him to readers for more than 700 years. He was a lawyer by trade, I believe. You've been on a mission of self-discovery for a long time, but you still don't know who you are. The seeker is the sought. How can you get closer to yourself? Just keep doing what you're already doing. You are on the right path. Dear Jackie, thank you for your finger heart, your
Tiny, tiny.
and your perfume. Yippee! And Om Bhur-bhuvaswa Tatsavitor-varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Jess, you had asked if I could go to any country. What would it be? I would love to visit India, truthfully. But that's not exclusive, because there are many, many, many more places in the world I'd love to visit also. I'm happy to help the greasy strangler. Thank you, Inevitable, for your heartbeat. Dhryambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukam iva bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamamritat. Hello, dear Icarus. You're right, Shrihasya Chitrakara. If I went to India, I then have to write a whole book, and then I'd have to read it. So maybe I won't do that. You crave to be in a jungle, dear Jess. Ah, me too. Yeah, that's actually why my background on my computer is a temple in a jungle. I can show you. Michelle, you share if traveling didn't cost money, you'd be always traveling. Well, if you're willing to live on uncertain terms, you can travel for practically nothing and live off the goodwill of strangers. That is the story of the Journey Home that we've been reading. Our author has been traveling with practically no money at all. And because he is a spiritual seeker, it seems like the universe just finds a place for him to stay, even if it's under a tree, and he makes that his home. So just like olden times, if you can do without the comforts and luxuries of the modern world, you can go pretty much anywhere. I'm also afraid of that too, Anthony. If I went to India, I wouldn't leave, so... Thank you, Moonflower, for the heart me you sent. Om Dom Durgaye Namah. Thank you for trusting in me, dear Lady Gem Gem. I'm grateful for all the synchronicities in this community. Our author is very brave, Michelle. I don't know if I'd be as brave as him. The Journey Home is a nice guidebook. I agree, Anthony. You shared that you walked about 5 hours yesterday. I would love to go on such a long walk with you sometime, Anthony. Thank you, Dob Darker, for your heartbeat. Radhe, Radhe. And Moonflower, Thank you for another dozen roses. Jaya Satchitananda. Can you keep your shoes, Riri? You can keep your shoes unless you stumble upon the Naga Babas who tell you to take your shoes off. Dear Jess, you ask, what kind of spiritual significance is the temple in the jungle? Just a source of meditation? Well, let's explore it together, shall we? A jungle, of course, is nature thriving in one of its fullest and most interconnected forms. And a temple is a place that we discover truth. So the temple in a jungle means to discover the truth within our own nature, I think. North Star, you ask, what do I think about Buddhism? I think it is a beautiful path of many different varieties. And I love what the Buddha taught about suffering being a universal experience as the first noble truth, and how from that we can extrapolate everything we need to know. You can always walk to Canada, shares Anthony. That would be a beautiful yajna, I think. Oh, sorry, yajna is sacrifice in Sanskrit. Yantra is the word for pilgrimage. But I suppose yantras are types of yajnas. And Chelsea, you share, you hitchhiked around for a long time as a young teenager. No regrets. Sounds like you were divinely protected. It's beautiful. Lyran Starseed, you ask, what do I think about the Moloch? It's a group of extraterrestrials that used mind control on Jewish families, and the comment got cut off there. If there's another comment, that's a part 2. Maybe this could add some context. I have never met any extraterrestrials personally, as far as I know, other than we're all kind of like aliens. And I'm grateful to be an earthling. I love Mother Earth. I have a lot of respect for the Jewish faith and tradition. And I feel for a lot of the discrimination they face. And I know our minds are very sensitive to various narratives. But I don't know how these 3 things would connect together personally. Dear Jess, you ask, do the synchronicities kind of stop when you get depressed or when you feel disconnected? It's a strange phenomenon for you. Yeah, I can see how we might be less receptive to seeing those things. But I also find that when I do have those low moments, it's usually the synchronicities that bring me back into remembering just how connected I am with the universe. Goodbye, dear Michelle. Dear Anthony, you ask if I like Mahayana. That form of Buddhism really speaks to me, yes. I love the idea of bodhisattvas. What city are you walking to then? I can let you know. Yeah. Dear Myrna, you ask, could we take lessons from the suffering of others? Absolutely. Yeah. As the saying goes, a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from others' mistakes. And a wise and smart man learns from both their and others' mistakes. Tatvamasi, you share that you recently discovered that Vajrayana worships Bhairava. You found that so interesting. Yeah, well, you know, when I read the Dhammapada, which is the words of the Buddha, one of the most famous scriptures in Buddhism, I'm amazed to know how many deities are referenced that are Hindu, and not even in a negative way, which you might come to associate with Buddhism being generally non-theistic and separated from the Vedic heritage. But it really speaks to how Buddha used the traditions that he and his Sangha was familiar with, and he would draw parallels to Indra and Brahma. And the more I learn from authentic sources of Buddhism, I just see how much overlap there truly is between the dharmic traditions. Dear Billy Jeet, you ask, how did I become enlightened? Well, I appreciate that you find illumination within me. I feel like there's so much more that I have to experience. There is an infinite depth of peace that I'm only just beginning to experience. And I'm so grateful to be where I am at this moment in the journey. And I am proud of myself for how far I've come. But I know that it was not my doing alone. It is grace of the divine and the support of many people in my life. One of the things that comes to my mind that feels intuitive at this moment, when it comes to our peace, we have to constantly be forgiving ourselves, because being hard on oneself is one way of growing, of learning. But if we're too hard on ourselves, that becomes yet another obstacle that prevents us from truly growing or learning. And that's because this life is not meant to be a hard one. People say to work hard, to study hard, but do we want to create a hard world or a soft world? Why don't we work easy, study easy, be as gentle as we can on us and everyone? I like that. If you astral project, inquires Greg RG, are you extraterrestrial? I think there is an overlap between pondering about the life that may exist from up above and our spiritual awakenings. Oh my goodness, that is the cutest gift I've ever received. I'm just a hamster. And I'm just a yampter. Thank you, Eira, for your I'm just a hamster. Om Namah Pashupati Nathaya. And thank you for the level up sparks. Om Mani Padme Aham. I like what you said, Anthony. For you it feels like there is a space beyond the self where your emotions are something more than emotions. Dear Jess, you've been listening to positive affirmations and you've suddenly been brought to the most positive. Is that the end of the sentence? The most positive. It's a beautiful thing, the most positive. But maybe there's another part of this comment. You adore the Dhammapada, dear Anthony. You like verse 277. Dear Weird Al, you're wondering, how do I spell Dhammapada? It's Dhammapada, which means the verses of the Dharma, of the teachings. Dear Sustainable Futures, you ask, if I could choose what I would be reincarnated as, what would I come back as? That's a very interesting question. I should preface any answer I give with perhaps the most important verse on the nature of reincarnation from the Bhagavad Gita. It goes like this. Aum lam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitah. Yam yam, whatever, va api, at all, smaram, remembering, bhavam, nature, tyajati, gives up, ante, at the end, kalevaram, this body, tam tam, similar, eva, certainly, eti, gets, kaunteya, O son of Kunti, sada, always, tat, that, bhava, state of being, bhavita, remembering. Whatever state of being one remembers in the end, O son of Kunti, that state they will attain without fail. So, coming back to your question, Sustainable Futures, what would I choose? Or if I could choose, we can. Because whatever we remember in the end is what decides that. I would choose to be an even more receptive source of kindness in my next life. Because I can always be kinder. And thank you, Moonflower, for another rose. Hare Krishna. Dear Anthony, you had an answer to our question of the day. Conditions and impermanence are the same. I love that. Sabina, you ask, what is the difference between a wise and a smart person? Well, there is that joke that a smart person knows that a tomato is a fruit But a wise person doesn't put it in their fruit salad. Thank you, Neptune. I wish you success on your journey. Yeah, forgiving ourselves for impulsive thoughts is a big one, Anthony. I understand where you're coming from, dear Myrna. Dear Jackie, you share your mother was talking about horses and Pegasus as she was dying. That's very symbolic. Horses, they roam free, wild horses. And Pegasi, is that the plural of Pegasus? I don't know. They have wings to take them wherever they wish to go. A true free spirit, perhaps your mother is. Dear Enzo, you ask if I have direct experience with the soul. It's a funny question when we remember that the word soul, although over-mystified, simply means the experiencer. So the question then becomes, do I, as the experiencer, have direct experience with the experiencer? And the answer to that question is simply no, because the experiencer cannot directly experience itself in the same way that a knife cannot cut itself, or that a telescope cannot look at itself. Dear Samantha, you share that you're struggling. Would you like to share what you're struggling with? I hope that I in this community is here for you. And that's right, Fluke. So whatever you remember when you die is what you're gonna come back as. Or your relationship to what you're remembering. For example, you could be remembering cats, but what you're thinking about is not being a cat, but how much you love cats. And so you come back as a source of love for cats. Maybe that means being a cat. Maybe that means someone who creates change in the world of animal welfare, for example. Oh, that's okay, dear Anthony. You never have to send any gifts at all. Your presence is a gift. That's why we call it the presence. Good addition. Smart man knows that a tomato is a fruit. Wise man knows not to put it in their fruit salad, but knows also to store them in the fridge with the fruits and the berries. Riri, you share that you interpret that. Remember to be applying to the causal body. You'd be a whale if you can attain this awareness. What do you like about whales, dear Riri? I'd love to know. And thank you, Aira, for the let butterfly dances. Soham, The more you think you know, you realize you know nothing. Well said, Jess. This question will pull you out of your heart and into the small of your back. Why is that? Why does it shift your awareness to identify with the experience? Sounds like a koan. Thank you, dear Eira, for your rose. Om Kham Jahnaviyai Namah. Dear Moonflower, you ask if I've seen the pictures of the massive dolphin migration, several thousands of them. Fabulous. Oh, I don't think I have. That sounds beautiful. I'd love to see that. Jackie, you share it's frustrating that the soul can't directly experience itself. It is divine frustration that creates the whole universe. Dear Paul, you ask again if I'm a Vaishnava. If it means that I have love for the various forms of Vishnu, then yes, I am a Vaishnava. Hello, dear Forboko. Dear Anthony, you wondered if I momentarily spoke through tongue. I misspoke, and then I made a funny sound. In humility of my misspeech. Rary, you share that dolphins protect, back to whales. Whales protect other animals from orcas for seemingly no reason, as if out of compassion. That's beautiful. Or are you talking about dolphins? I know I had asked about whales. Dear Anthony, you ask if I can explain some fundamental truths that we can certainly know. I think the most simple one is that a day spent being kind is a day well spent. That is a fundamental truth to me. Or if you want to be even more general, instead of days, which are a concept on earth, a moment spent being kind is a moment well spent. Hello, Aywz. AYWZ. Dear Fluke, you ask, why does awareness seem like paranoia? Sometimes a heightened sense of awareness can come with a sense of fear. But awareness can be without fear, even very vast awareness of all the goings on around us. That shift happens when we turn off or redirect our analytical mind. When our awareness grows and our analytical mind tries to fill that space, it gets overwhelmed with all the things it has to keep track of. If you can allow your awareness to just be there without any analysis of all the forms coming into your experience, then your awareness will be free from that sort of fear. Anthony, you share, it's like your awareness shifts to a vertebrae in your spine, all the way up to behind your nose. Sounds like the Kundalini. Namaste, dear Jamie, if that's how I pronounce your name. Sit straight, everyone. You'll thank yourself in 40 years. Thank you for the reminder, Anthony. I could be sitting a lot straighter myself currently. Good morning, Marta, from Poland. Thank you, dear Jamie. Jai Maha, dear MD. I have heard some Neville Goddard, dear Era. I love his faith and how your own intentions can create outcomes. Thank you, Kahil, for your pair of roses. Kali Maha Kali Kali Ke Parameshwari Sarvananda Kare Devi Narayani Namostute. And hello, dear Joseph and Suraj. How have you been? You like to do handstands, dear Anthony? You don't know about ballet, but it makes your back strong. Yeah. I think it'd be cool if we all learned a little ballet like they did in France. Just to give a certain grace to all of our movements throughout the day. Dear mental health, you ask, how much time do I spend on social media in general? Well, if you count these live streams, probably a good few hours every day. And then if you count going through my messages with people on Instagram, for example, that might be another hour of my day. And then I like to wake up and go to sleep learning something new on YouTube. So if you count that, that might be another hour or two of my day. And that sums up probably like 6 hours or so, according to my calculation there. I could be off, plus or minus a few hours. Am I into the Kama Sutra, asks Kahil. I actually have never read the Kama Sutra, but I know that it's a text often cited in Tantra, a yogic tradition that incorporates many aspects into our spiritual journey, teaches us to not shy away from anything. I'm sure one day I'll learn more about it. I'm glad you find calm here, dear Nate. But yeah, when our awareness rises, we get scared because all the new sensations that were always there startle us as we become aware. Well said. And Jamie, you shared true awareness is found in love, which is present even in the illumination of the dark. Sometimes the anxiety comes because of awareness of our shadow showing through. I like that. Thank you for adding that. I believe in you, dear Eira. Hello, Ren Fox. Dear Simo, you ask, do I think a peaceful revolution is possible? Yeah, absolutely. but it's not going to be easy. In fact, a peaceful revolution is going to be even more difficult than any other kind. But that seems like a noble goal to me. Dear Live, Laugh, Love, you ask, how do you stay calm at work when you're being bullied? Well, if you need to stand up for yourself, please know that that is something that you are valid in doing, even on the spiritual path. Your feelings are important. I encourage you to set boundaries where they need to be. But when it comes to staying centered through that, try not to take it personally. Remember that bullies only have an idea of who you are in their head, and that idea of you is a part of them. If they truly knew who you were, they wouldn't bully you because you are lovely. And if someone doesn't treat you in honor of the loveliness that you are, then that means that they don't know you. They only have an impression based on their past experiences, and you can wish them well to heal from that and expand their worldview. Thank you for inspiring us all to try out ballet sometime, dear Riri. I would like to do that. Yeah. Hello, dear Yana. Nice to see you too. Hello, happy morrows. Hello, Koli. Good night, dear Anthony. Yeah. If they truly knew who they were, they wouldn't bully themselves. That's a great addition, Anthony. Hello, dear Diem. Welcome, Joseph. Hello, Shani. Thank you, Kali, for your heart mate. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Renvox, for your friendship necklace. Om Namah Karnim Vitame Shrim Naditame Hrim Devitame Aing Sarasvatyai Swaha. I remember your name, dear loving guidance, aka God's warrior. Yes, and thank you, a Daisy, for your heart mate. Hum 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 hrim hrim Namah Shakti Shivaya Shiva Shaktyai Nama Om. Dear Saskia, you ask, what is a mantra that helped me grow into my best self? Well, dear Saskia, I continue to grow into better versions of myself with each mantra. But one I find myself often returning to is the simple Gayatri mantra from the Rig Veda that was so popular even 2,500 years ago that the Buddha said there is no other mantra like that of the Gayatri. And it's probably many thousands of years older than that too. It goes like this. Om bhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yonah prachodayat. It starts with mystical utterances. The mantra. Om is the pranava, the cosmic syllable, which is said to hold the key to the universe in it. Many mantras start with Om, so that's not too surprising. But then it's followed by 3 other bijas, or seeds. Bhuhu, which means the seed for the earth plane. Bhuva, which means the seed for what's above the earth. And Swaha, which is the seed for what's ultimately beyond, in the celestial plane. Tat means that. It's actually where we get the English word that through the game of telephone. Savituhu, which means that sun-like divinity. Varenyam, worthy of worship. Bhargo, remover of darkness. Devasya, divine. Dhimahi, we meditate upon. Dhiyo yona, intellect of ours. Prachodayat, may you propel or impel. And where do you propel that, O Savituhu? Well, it loops back in on the beginning to gain the meaning. Om Bhuvaswa. From creation, the earth, to what's above, to the celestial plane. It's a metaphor. The earth is our body. What's above the sky is our mind. And the celestial plane is our consciousness. And it's there we find Tat Savituhu, that sun-like divinity, which illuminates this world from the inside out, which is truly worthy of worship, and remover of darkness in the form of ignorance that we meditate upon as our innermost self. May that within us illumine, propel our intellect. So, I hope that answers your question. Happy Mahashivaratri, dear Hope. I can write the name of that mantra in chat, yeah. Dear Tan, how are you? Thank you for your heart mate. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. Oh, sorry, I think I mixed up my Gayatris. There's many variations of the Gayatri meter. Anyway, let me do that again. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe I'm already messing it up. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu prachodayat. I often get that one confused with the one for Rudra, which is Tatpurushaya vidmahe mahadevaya dhimahi tanno Rudra prachodayat. And I love to see people coming together to resolve any tension in chat. Do know that there's enough space for all of us here. Thank you, Michael, for your heart, me, and rose. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. And dear, I love Pop-Tarts. Thank you for your rose. Om Ganganapataye Namah. And I'm glad that you like the Triambaka mantra, dear Hope. Dear Inkoi Uro, you ask if I have any videos where I speak in my actual voice. I understand how the way I speak might trigger you, and I don't intend on making you feel like my expression is inauthentic to the experiences that you've had, and I only offer love and appreciation for the perspective that you add. I've come a long way in how I express myself. I do have old videos where I speak differently. And some people might wonder why, if I speak different in my old videos to the way I express myself on the live streams. And the simple answer to that is I took off my mask. For so long I had been living under the guise of an intellectual, and that I was here to wake other people up. And I realized that in my anger, in my desire to try to change the way other people think, that was the most inauthentic thing I could do. And to truly be authentic to myself means coming from a place of kindness, from gentleness, from compassion, from peace. Because I know that's exactly what the world needs from all of us right now. And I think if we all took a little step back from the masks that we wear, and we fall deeper into ourself, that we'll all find that we naturally speak a little more clearer, with more intent and purpose. There's so much peace inside all of us. We just have to stop looking for it in the world, and instead find it as the core of our being that's always been there. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And thank you, Brave Bella, for your trio of roses. Radhe Radhe, and Tattvamasi. Thank you for your quintet of roses too. Om Kring Kali Kaye Namah. Now I see that your name is a spoonerism of Uncle Iroh. Do you also like the show Avatar: The Last Airbender? If so, I think that would be a really cool common ground that we could explore. I think the writers of that show were brilliant. And I learned a lot from the personalities of the many characters. Hello, dear Death Head. How are you feeling? And thank you, dear Laurel, for your quintet of roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I agree. Uncle Iroh is the true sage. I'm grateful to have you here too, dear Jessica. I pray that you find good vibes here. Dear Simon, you ask, would I, on a personal level, be part of a revolution? Do you feel like there are ways in which I already am, in terms of what you've come to experience in this space? Hello, dear Saturnus. Yes, you remember my old videos. You're funny, Death Head. You're good? I'm happy to hear that. I'm feeling good too. I understand that, dear Inko Uro, and I have trust in your radar. I have trust in your judgment. That's an important awareness to have. Hello, cool mug. I'm grateful for the space we have at this moment. 137 users. It's a favorite number of mine. Very close to the reciprocal of the fine structure constant, which has mystified physicists for decades. Dear mental health, you ask, where do I think I'll be in 20 years? I don't know. I don't even know if tomorrow is guaranteed. All I can do is be grateful for this moment. And given that the future is a natural continuation of the present, and if the present is a natural continuation of the past, then let us heal from our wounds of the past. Have a clear vision for the future and take care of what needs to be in the present. There's a fine structure constant, it's called, in physics, It's one of the few constants that is dimensionless, meaning that it doesn't have any units like mass or length or time. It relates, if I'm not mistaken, the mass of an electron to its charge. That in some sense, you could say that there is a very specific ratio in terms of the energy behind the charge of an electron and the mass of an electron. And that's meaningful because an electron is kind of the basis of the electromagnetic field, which makes up so much of this universe. And as far as we know, there's nothing more fundamental than the electron. It is a fundamental particle. As such, it has a standard for what charge exists in the universe, and it has a very specific mass. And the ratio, in some sense, when you combine the constants relating to its charge and its mass in different ways, you get this number that's about 1 over 137. It's not exact, but that number just mystifies physicists. Some numbers you can predict, especially other dimensionless constants, that in theory you could predict what that number 1 over 137 is, but it just doesn't come out of theory. It has to be measured indirectly. And I just love how there are things in this universe so deceptively simple and so simply deceptive. I think there are going to be things that will continue to discover about this universe forever. And the number 137 is meaningful to me because I often see it in my life. I look for it, of course, but many significant moments in my life are demarcated by such a number. And that is the number of viewers at this moment. Thank you, a daisy, for your quintet of roses. Om Kamalyar Mahakalikaye Namah. And thank you, Eva Nora, for your nonet of roses. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for providing a more accurate decimal expansion of the reciprocal of the fine structure constant, Michael. Simo, you asked, how do we ensure a present for those in the future? Such a beautiful question, Simo. I think even though we live in such a new time with new experiences, everything that we have come to experience thus far is a reflection of cycles that are ongoing throughout history. And they are doomed to repeat into the future unless we can learn from them. So studying the past and the challenges that we have faced is a good way to understand how we can do things differently this time. Hello, dear Mila. Greetings from Vancouver Island. A should probably get more sunlight, as per my vampiric resemblance. But as you know, living in Canada during the winter, it's not always guaranteed. I'm grateful that you see the overlap in our journeys, dear Hope. And I wish for all the peace that I've come to experience to be a reflection of your path, Joe. Jessica, you ask, what is Sangha? Sangha is an ancient word from the language of Sanskrit that generally means just community. So it's a community, a gathering. But spiritually it refers to the fact that who we associate with, what we associate with, is our highest free will. We might not get to choose the circumstance of our lives, but we do get to choose what aspects of it we bring our awareness, our energy to, and that's Sangha, association. Om Namah Shivaya. What's the zeta function? Asks Deathhead. The Riemann zeta function is the object of study in modern mathematics that has piqued perhaps most theoretical mathematicians' interest more than any other. And it holds a lot of secrets about the distribution of prime numbers. And it's related to a hypothesis by the Millennium Institute that if you solve, you'll get $1 million. Dear Jessica Blemmings, you wonder how many Earth years have I been on this Earth? What a very mystically worded question. 23. Dear Chelsea, you've tried to send me 137 roses before, but I broke them up into a bunch of different random bundles. E for effort. The greatest rose is the flower that you are, and that's worth more than any else. Hello, Fios. We can learn from Yoda's mistake. Dear Inkle Uro. Was Krishna Christ? Asks Deathhead. They're certainly different forms of the same divinity. And the words of the Christ complement and not contradict the words of Krishna, and vice versa. Number theory is a wonderful field too, dear Michael. Hola. Whatever from Brazil. Dear Hybrid Jen, you share that 2 of your 5 kids are really light-skinned like me. How interesting. Yeah, I am very Irish. Ethnically, there's no debate about that. But I don't need a tan. My skin will thank me at 60. Thank you, Renfox. I still have so much to learn, dear Evanora. Zia, you share, surely by inflation, the reward should be higher than 1 million now. For the Riemann hypothesis, I agree. But good news is you'll probably win a lot more awards than just that. At least the Abel Prize in mathematics, which, if I'm not mistaken, is worth more than even the Nobel Prize. Something like 4 million. So you probably get at least 5 million for the Riemann. Dear Enzo, you ask, would I still stream if I average 10 viewers? I would be happy to be here, even if it was 10 viewers. Yes. But I would naturally question if there were other ways I could bring what we share here to those who could benefit from it. But I'd be grateful for those 10 viewers, certainly. Dear Eira, you ask, do I have moderators? I do have moderators, and there are a couple here. If you would like to be a moderator, I would trust you with that too. Dear Matt Myers, you ask, how do you find your meaning? Or do you not have meaning in this universe? You don't find meaning, you create it. And isn't that even more meaningful? I would love to establish a deeper connection to my Irish heritage, dear Evanora. I'd love to learn more about the Morrigan. Now I apologize as my phone has disconnected from my computer. Oh, my phone died. Or did it power off? I'm not sure. Oopsies. Something to pay more attention to next time. But you can look at the floating cat in the void. I use my phone as my camera, and I've never had it die before because I usually plug it in at the same time, which it is. So it must have not been connected properly. Oh well, I'll leave it to charge at the moment, and let's see if I can use a backup camera, because I do have a webcam on this computer also. But it is a cute cat floating in the void, isn't it? Let's see. Here's my webcam. It's definitely not as high quality. Let me rotate. Well, this is very lo-fi. This looks a lot more magical, actually. I kind of like the vibe. That's funny. Well, I think it's about time we wrap up our live stream then. But let me make sure I've attended to everyone's comments so far. Yeah, I do echo what our moderator and my love T2 Infinity shares, that this Sangha is a safe space to share ideas. Respect and open-mindedness is upheld. Yeah. Let me transition to our Nididhyasana. And we'll end with a lovely meditation. Oh, that's right. I have to make sure the camera is updated on this scene also. All right, here we are. For tonight's meditation, I thought we'd do a guided meditation on knowing that you are filled with magic, and coming into this knowledge and embodying that truth. If you're interested to explore that with me, I welcome you to find a position that works for you. Ideally one that's sturdy and comfortable. If you want to close your eyes, you're free to do so. Let's start by bringing our attention to the breath. Breathing in deeply. Exhaling relaxingly. Again, find that deepness of your breath. It's going to be natural that the mind wanders. It is its nature to wander. So I will continue to bring us back with my voice to the subject of today's meditation. I'll give you pointers back to your breath in between. Drop your shoulders and clench your jaw. Feel lightness in your eyelids. Feel excess energy drain from your face. Feel your stomach free of tension, and your glutes and other muscles in your leg just drop. With your body released, let's bring our mind to a most curious thing. Isn't it remarkable that you know what I mean when I say this universe didn't have to be? There's something intuitive about acknowledging that this existence is an unexpected one. If you try to wrap your mind around the paradox of it all, the time before time, the space before space, if there even was one, what could possibly impel this existence into being? For many people, the answer is, of course, a creator. But we can turn our attention in the same mystified way to the source of a creator. And you can ask the same question. Was there a time before the time of the creator? Or a space before the space of the creator? Or was there even one? And what would that mean to not have one? How has all of this just been the nature of reality? Why isn't there just a void of nothingness? No space, no time, no light, no darkness, no sound, no silence, no movement, no stillness. There are many beautiful ways we can answer the question. Keep breathing. But I'd like to emphasize the question more than any possible answer. Isn't it remarkable that we can ask this question at all? That here is a reality that in some way, shape, or form we are part of. And yet, we are mystified by our own heritage. They say we are the universe awakened to itself. How is it that the universe inquires about its own nature? As we explore these lines of inquiry with deep and conscious breathing, you might get a funny feeling arise. You might wonder where this is all going. And that's the point. The wonderment itself. That strangeness, how bizarre, how magical. You feel that sparkle inside you, that shimmer of being that you can't quite see, hear, or feel, but you do in a different way. Here you are. There is the world. Who are you and what is the world? I think magic describes it best. It is magic, and you are that. I want you to keep meditating with me, knowing that you are literally filled with magic. To paraphrase an adage, as we breathe this in to be true, we are not human beings having magical experiences. We are magic having human experiences. Science may give us the how. Science may provide us the context of our material world, but it does not and cannot give us the why. Yes, electrochemical firings appear between the synapses of our neuronic landscape, arising from a body made of flesh and bones that biologists know oh so well. Encoded in our chromosomes are genes made up of atoms, each abiding by the laws of physics. Electrons like etheric clouds surrounding an almost infinitesimally small nucleus, bound together by the weak nuclear force, protons and neutrons made up of quarks, binding in turn together through the strong nuclear force. All of this coming together to produce grand cosmic structures that are attracted to each other through the geodesics of space-time. And that's all wonderful. But yet, the question still remains, why? Why any of this? Why space? Why time? Why electromagnetic strong and nuclear forces? This is the great mystery. We can describe our universe to no end and become clearer and clearer in our description. But the description is never sufficient. And that's not a lack. That's not a burden. That's a blessing. We are blessed to have no end to this mystery. We are blessed to be mystified. So, may we dance, knowing there is magic inside us. May we sing, may we celebrate, may we take what we know and apply it for good. Let's make the world a better place with this magic. It's the least we can do. And as we approach the end of this meditation, let's return back to our breath and imbibe that magic in each inhale, in each exhale, feeling the dance of all of our energies, teeming with joy, as if every electron, every quark and gluon were just ecstatic in their existence. That if you could feel what the particles of this universe are feeling, they would feel effing fantastic. Thank you for listening. That will conclude our meditation. You may open your eyes and stretch whenever you feel is right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the Sangha. And thank you for thank you for putting up with my backup camera since my phone died. I'm sure I'll have that resolved by next time. Thank you, dear Lee, for the heart me that you had sent. Sadhyoja tam prapadyami sadhyoja taya vai namo namah bhave bhave nati bhave bhavasva mam bhavod bhavaya namah. Tattvamasi. Thank you for your trio of roses. Vamadevaya namo Jyeshtaya namo Namah Shrishtaya namo Rudraya namah Kalaya namah Kalavikaranaya namo Balaya namo Balavikaranaya namah Sarva Bhuta Damanaya namo Manonanaya namah. I love that, Don Suela. Inner magic and wisdom does not require effort. It's truly effortless, a natural process of source. Thank you for reminding me, dear Anthony. I shall get back to you. Hello and goodbye, everyone that joined while we were meditating also. Ayura, you had asked, am I an old soul? How old do I feel spiritually? Our souls have no beginning and have no end, and therefore time does not touch them. When someone is in touch with the eternality of their soul, we may call them old. But just as you could argue that the beginningless is eternal, the endless is ever new, and therefore someone who is in touch with the ever newness of their soul may be called young. But old and young are relative terms, and the truth is that the soul is both yet neither both nor neither. And that's true for me, and that's true for everyone. Dearest G to infinity, you share, we are magical beings gathered here in this moment. Such wondrous energy. Thank you, Denise, for your rose too. Om Aghorebhyo Tam Ghorebhyo Aghora Ghore Tarebhyam Sarvatha Sarva Sarvebhyo Namaste Rudra Rupebhyam. Thank you all for joining me in this space. Thank you to my lovely moderators for helping keep the peace. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Asato ma sadgamayam tamaso ma jyotirgamayam Mrityor mamritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Namaste in Ko'oro. Na I'ma stay. Nah, I'ma go. Please know that this live stream will be uploaded to my Yamsox Lives YouTube channel for those who wanted to be here that or couldn't. And if you ever feel like there's other live streams that you could benefit from, there's like hundreds of them there now. And I also clip all of the meditations and readings specifically to make it easier. And they have their own dedicated playlists to them. Like if you want to catch up on the poetry of Rumi or the Journey Home, which are 2 books that we're reading now. I kind of like this lo-fi camera. It gives a certain vibe that my very high quality phone camera doesn't have. Thank you, Simo. You have a freaking magical night too. May you have a wonderful rest of your evening, night, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is for you. In the present that we all share, may you have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Namaste. Spread love.